What will survive 2020 but won't be nearly as popular? Cruises. For what it's worth, cruise ships have always been incubators for various pathogens. I've been on 20 cruises over the years and caught colds on a third of them. Toilet paper. Bidets see their chance in the US market. American hair that got one about 3 to 4 months ago. Everyone I tell thinks I'm crazy. For most people, it's washing your hands. Unfortunately, I think you are right. Even without coronavirus, there's all kinds of other nasty diseases that people could avoid spreading if they'd just keep their grubby little mitts a bit less grubby. I definitely didn't wash them with the frequency that I do now. Anytime I touch anything that could have been touched by another human in the last few days, I'm washing them as soon as I can. Going through way more soap. Going into the office to work. My remote desktop connection lags behind while typing, crashes constantly, and disconnects multiple times a day. I'm still getting more done than in the office. Partly because I've managed to convince everyone that my microphone is broken so no one tries to speak to me. More on this. Plenty of companies have remote employees, but very few of them have built a remote culture to ensure their success. Often the failure of remote employees is really a failure of the company to develop a remote culture that keeps remote employees plugged in, informed, and productive. What we're seeing right now is a nationwide effort by companies to solve their remote culture problem now that it's a matter of survival. My wife is now working from home also, and her first day she finished in 2 hours what would have been an entire day's worth of work at her office. Spend a vacation at home with your family. My husband and I are both shift workers, and don't get a lot of time off together. Once a year we take a 2 to 3 week staycation that includes our wedding anniversary, and just hang out at home together with the cats, watching movies and eating junk food. It's pretty much my favorite part of the year. Handshakes. But how else will I know who at this meeting has a sword? Having worked in the food industry for many years, I've long been partial to elbow bump. Dude. I'm client-facing, and I feel so rude not shaking hands. So I always make a joke about it, and I'm getting so many responses. Some just laugh, other offer forward an elbow, one tapped my foot with his, another air high-fived, but my favorite had to be the Japanese greeting. My coworker started that and it's catching on with the whole team. Folded hands, folded hands. Anti-vaccination. You have an overly optimistic view of irrational people, I think. I have not seen any anti-vaxxer change their tune on anything during this. That's not really their style, responding to information and making decisions based on that. Nah, anti-vaxxers are still out in full force. Saw some in another thread saying they still fully intend on not getting the COVID-19 vaccine when it's developed. Sharing beverages. Gym memberships. A lot of people have bought their own equipment to set up home gyms now that their gyms are closed. Many will realize they live the convenience of working out at home and it will save them money in the long run. I'm worried about movie theaters. They've been struggling for a while, and with them losing so much revenue and companies doing early home releases now, I'm worried they will be a thing of the past in a few years. Which makes me sad because I love going to the movies. It's the only extroverted thing I like doing, like why even date if we can't go see a movie? They lost me a few years ago. It just got too expensive. I hate that. I used to like to go a lot. Now I choose maybe 1 or 2 movies a year, if that, to go see. I managed one movie theater in my town since before I was 18, worked on the weekends since then. Worked with 35mm equipment and threaded the last projector, was there when everything went digital. Was there when we closed our doors a few weeks ago. Most movies have been cancelled this year and they don't have the cash on hand they need. I don't think they coming back, hope I'm wrong. My kid's first movie at the theater was Frozen 2, and they keep asking to go back. I told them we can't right now because of 6th season, but really hope I won't have to tell them the theaters aren't opening back up. coughing. Coughing is going to be frowned upon for a very long time. Not sure coughing was ever popular. Dad asks after you've been sitting on the couch for 2 months. Actually, I should buy another couch since it's old and raggedy. But I always sit in the same spot, so there's this crater which has formed over the years in which my ass fits perfectly. Very comfy. Businesses, large and small, that took actions the internet population deemed wrong during pandemic. Virgin Airlines. Seriously, a boss who owns private islands asking his entire staff to take 8 weeks unpaid leave. Richard Branson stripped himself of all his school credit in an instant. Coronavirus, I'm not joking lol. The prank YouTube channels? We can only hope. Parents who blame teachers for their kids' behavior. Teacher here. I've already had a parent complain that her high school-age child isn't doing his optional, non-graded online assignments because I'm not encouraging him enough. Air travel. The more companies see how much they can do with virtual meetings and such, the more they can decide that this can be a huge money saver when things get better. They said this in 2001 after 9/11, in 2008 when the economy crashed, and they'll give it lip service this time around, but in 5 years people will be flying around to go to meetings once again because there's too much value in a face-to-face meeting. The risk is tourism suffers. The reason you can fly to anywhere for relatively reasonable money is because loads of companies pay for people to fly for work. If that stops, and a number of airlines go bust as they are already doing, flights could get more expensive. It's going to suck to come out of being stuck at home only to find I can't afford to go anywhere else once I'm allowed to. Makeup. I don't know that I'm going to go back to clogging my skin with foundation after going so long without it. I stopped wearing makeup 2 years ago and my skin cleared out of all the acne. I have better skin than I had my whole adult life, and I believe it's 100% because I'm not clogging it with paint every day. Makeup is a trap. The more you use it, the more you need it, and I hope women will realize it now. Celebrities. This crisis has shown the world just how insignificant most of them are. Ryan Reynolds was nice. He and Blake donated $1 million to food banks and then another $400,000 to hospitals since the crisis started. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to give more throughout the crisis. Respect for employers. Coronavirus memes. Licking doorknobs. On other planets is illegal. Treating retail employees, especially grocery store and restaurant workers, like garbage. Obviously there will still be those assholes who keep doing that, but hopefully the majority of people will learn a lesson and treat these employees much better. The customers at my job have only gotten nastier, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. The belief that our government has our vested interests at heart. As a New Zealander, I think the opposite has happened, and it has made government more popular. Actually, as a Canadian, I am super proud of my country, and how we handle COVID-19. I would love for Western countries to keep the habit of wearing masks when sick. Or just staying home. It always irritated me when co-workers came to work sick. Thank a lack of paid sick leave for that. Any wholesale changes people were forced to make because they were quarantined. Washing their hands frequently, maintaining ample distance in public, cooking more for themselves instead of takeout. All of that will be pissed away once things return to normal, because we as humans think these were weird to do. These were only done in tense times, and we can go back to socializing, partying and not giving a damn about tomorrow. The 8,000 channels of non-stop sports commentary. Honestly, still watching sports just as much as before. It's nice to watch the classics come on and weird new stuff. Roz. Movie theaters. Man, I can't wait to hit the big screen and sit in one of the puffy, reclining chairs again. Same, I really enjoy going to the movies. Bat soup. Maybe in China it will. Pangolin soup, however, is now seeing a comeback. Older people. Damn. Corona, the beer. Corona is seeing record surges in sales across the globe. Sales of the Corona brand are up as much as 50% according to recent Nielsen data. This virus is inadvertently providing a more successful marketing campaign for Corona than any advertising agency on earth could provide. And it's free. This is not what we meant by try viral marketing campaign. Restaurants. A lot of people are learning how to cook. Cutting your own hair. A lot of people are doing it now. This whole thread would be so surreal to anyone 4 months ago. What do you think will become less popular after a pandemic? Leave a comment. And subscribe to this channel if you want to see more same videos.